My name is Caleb. I'm also known as Indyoda. And here we also have
Hannah. My name is Hannah. I am from the Raeside, a YouTube channel, and we are talking about content creation. And I'm assuming if you're sitting here watching this right now, you're kind of keen, maybe you're already into it a little bit, but you want to know more about how to get into it, improve some skills of content creation. And we're going to get into all of that today in our discussion.
Yeah, we're very excited to chat with you all. Have some questions at the end from you guys. And yeah, we're really keen to talk about our journeys, what we've learned. So yeah, I reckon we just get stuck into it. So Hannah, what do you do? What's your content?
Yes. So I mainly run a YouTube channel called The Raeside. It is a Star Wars specific YouTube channel. I do live streaming, I do analysis videos on the Clone Wars and TV shows. But the bulk of what I do is in live streams, and I do a lot of Star Wars live streams focusing on fun, enjoyable Lego builds. I'll make Star Wars cooking video live streams. It's really quite an array of things, just from my personal preference of what I like to do as a Star Wars fan. But then, of course, that stems into different TikTok videos, Instagram Reels, all the different social medias from my main YouTube channel. But YouTube's the thing for me. But Caleb, you've got a slightly different angle of what content you're doing. What are you doing?
So I'm on a few different platforms. So I do a few cosplays, and that's on Instagram. I also have a YouTube channel, but I mainly do reaction videos to different TV shows and movies. Some by myself, some I have some friends. And then I also do some TikTok skits, which people find funny apparently.
They are.
Both around Star Wars and Marvel and DC and all that sort of stuff, because that's what I love talking about, and I love sharing that with people. So yeah, that's my content. Why do you do the things that you do? You're saying a lot of stuff that you do, Hannah, is from your personal preference. How much does your personal life, I guess, and the things you enjoy influence the content that you make?
Oh, like it's such a big part of it. It's such a big part of it. And I think content creation has really taken over a lot of what people are interested in, or a lot of people want to do, because it's a type of expression. You're expressing yourself, connecting with people, getting yourself out there with something you have to say, something you have to show. And I think that's something I really love about it, is that I can really connect with anyone in the world, really, about Star Wars. I can, whether it's some sort of live stream and I can talk to people live in a show, it is such a connecting thing to say, hey, I love this show, or I love this movie, I love this character, and someone else is like, I love it too. It's really, I find that just so wholesome. We can all, I got people from like Alaska and like Mexico being like, I'm tuning in, watching this like Lego build, and it's kind of mind-blowing. Like, I feel like we don't realize it in the moment sometimes. I mean, this is specifically with live streaming, but it is amazing how connecting of an experience it can be. So that's probably the thing I love about it most. You can connect with anyone, whatever your interest or niche is. That's probably what I love about it. What about you?
Well, yeah, because again, it's just sharing the love of the fandoms that you're a part of with people around you, both in real life and, yeah, like Hannah said, you can connect with content creation to anyone around the world. People from all walks of life, different countries, all sorts of backgrounds. But yeah, there was something that you said. I've just blanked, but that's fine. Yeah, so that's why I love content creation, is sharing that passion with other people. And yeah, like you said, we're both heavily into the Star Wars side of things, but when we're talking about content creation, this can be applied to anything. This can be applied to movies and shows, but it can also be applied to book series and board games and video games, and everything that we're talking about in our panel today can be applied to all sorts of stuff. So yeah, we're really excited to share that with you.
Yeah.
But Hannah, how did you get started in the YouTube world and in content creation?
Good story. Mic drop. Well, and after these questions, we will get into the detailed tips and tricks of how to start. But this is good context. So I started off with a Star Wars podcast. I did podcasting, audio and visual, for about a year and a half, and then a year ago from today, well not today, but like around now, I started my own YouTube channel. I've always had a passion for Star Wars, always had a passion for performing, speaking, connecting with people. So it was a very natural progression. I was like, yeah, let's start a YouTube channel. Everyone's doing it these days. Like, I'm going to do one. The Star, I've been a Star Wars fan since I was like 10 years old, and I'm 23 now. So it took a while, but like I feel like over that time I built up all my knowledge and passion for it over that time. So then when it came to, okay, I'm going to make content, whether it's short form, long form videos, I knew what I was talking about. I don't know everything about Star Wars, but I knew what I was talking about. And then, that's led me up to today. So it was kind of started as a hobby. I started as a hobby a year ago, but it is now my job. It is now my full-time job to do.
And that's so cool that content
easy.
Creation can become, a source of income as well as being just a hobby. And it's something that you can enjoy. And I think that's the best kind of job, honestly.
It is
doing something you enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but that's kind of that's my story with it. What about you, Caleb? Give us your journey.
Well, so I always loved watching reaction videos, and I will get into this a bit later, but I was like, what if I did the stuff that I enjoy watching? I'm like, would other people enjoy it? And I also enjoyed watching these shows that come out, Star Wars and Marvel, Disney Plus shows and stuff. I enjoyed watching that with my family, with my friends, and so seeing group reactions really inspired me to do, those reaction videos, and that has been a source of so much joy and brought me closer to some of my friends, like my in real life friends as well. And then for TikTok, I started doing posts about movie news because that's what I saw people doing. I'm like, I like that content, I'm going to start doing it. But then, and again, we'll get into this a bit later about the research, but I started researching what does well on TikTok, what creators are doing to move the platform forward, what's an innovative idea, and that's where the skits came from. So doing skits about, people behind the scenes of Star Wars and what their thought processes might be was something that was amusing to me and I thought might amuse other people. And so that's where I got started. And it's been super fun to do and really enjoyable, especially to share those reaction videos with my friends as well, which has been fantastic. So so do you want to, shall we skip the next question and go to our 3 top tips for starting?
Yes, that's the juicy stuff. I feel like that's that's our story, but we want to get into how we can be helping you guys, figuring out what we have learned and our years together, well not together, but joint years of our efforts into learning. Hopefully we can impart some knowledge for you guys. So we have top 3 tips each. Yeah. So how about we do one each?
That sounds great.
Let's do it
That's
that
a
way.
good idea.
Okay. So I'll start with one and then you go with your 3.
Sounds fantastic.
So my very first tip with it, and this can be applied if you have started, but if you haven't started, is to not overthink it. And that seems very cliche and easy to say, but it is so easy to go, I'm gonna write down 10 video ideas. I'm going to write down every day of the week. I'm going to post this. I'm going to write down. I'm going to post a photo on Instagram every day. I'm going to plan it, and you really just overcommit with planning. Planning is good. It is good to have an idea of what you want to achieve and all those kinds of things. But it's much, much easier. And I think us creatives, if you are creatively minded like me, it is very easy to overthink our approaches to creating something that we want to express. So don't overthink it. You've got to start. Make that YouTube video, make a stream, take some photos of your cosplay, post it online. Don't overthink it. Just get started. That's my first tip.
Yeah, fantastic. My first tip is to write down everything. Now, I say everything. I know, and that sounds like the complete opposite of what Hannah has just said. But what I mean by that is if you have an idea in the middle of the day, right, and you're doing work and suddenly your mind's wandering, write it down in a note on your phone, because you can come back to it later, or, you know, it might not be a great idea now, but in 5 months' time, you know, something happens in the world of whatever your fandom is, and you're like, I can adapt that idea to this situation. So I think writing down the ideas that you have just when you have them, and having them readily available to go back to, is really good. So it's not write everything down in a list, you know, immediately, but yeah, when you have an idea, take a note of it. Make sure that it's there for you to come back to later, because you don't know what ideas could be great in the future, how you can change them and adapt them and grow them to really help your content. So yeah, that's my first one.
Yeah, I get that. Don't think about it, write it down. There we go, we'll combine them. My second tip is go with what you love. So this is more of an answer to sometimes people have the question of, oh, I want to get into streaming, I want to get into making videos, what do I make videos about? And the simple answer to that question that we hear a lot and people ask a lot is go with what you love. Go with what you love. It's going to be what you have the most knowledge of. If you know, oh, I know a few TV shows, oh, I know a few, I've seen a lot of movies, I like a lot of movies, do I do everything? Well, what do you love about movies? How about you really love action movies specifically? It's always a tricky one, that one specifically, jeez. You really love that, or I really love tech reviews. I'm gonna go hard into, you know, gaming controller tech reviews. Just go with what you love. That is the easiest answer to the question of where do I start and what I should be focusing on with content. Going with what you love. Yeah, that's my second tip.
Fantastic. Mine's kind of building on top of that as well.
That's true.
So I suggest doing your research, and again, what I mean by that is, what stuff do you enjoy watching? What do those creators do that you love? What are their styles? What can you take as inspiration, not to copy or plagiarize, but what ideas of theirs do you like? What can you adapt to your fandom? What stuff do you enjoy? If you're a content creator, what do you enjoy consuming as well? What content do you watch? What do you see that people like, that does well, that you enjoy? And then it's what can you do differently as well? How can you stand out? How do you make your content unique and stand out? And it's not just a rehash of what someone else has done, but it's unique and it grabs people. That's my thing, is see other creators in your field. What are they doing well? What do you enjoy from them? That's my second one.
Third tip, a third and final tip.
Yeah, wow.
For content. I'm actually going to change what I've written down here, because I think I just thought of this one. I'm like, oh, that would have been a better tip. But you don't need a lot to start. You really don't. I think there is such a big pool now of resources, editing software, microphones, cameras, all those kinds of things that you can level up in. You can buy more quality equipment with, and if you have all that money. But I think there is such a massive pool of people that don't have $1,000 to drop on a brand new camera to make vlogs and things like that. I think there is so much value in just going with what you have and going, I'm just going to create this because I love to do it, and that will resonate with someone. That was definitely my experience, not starting off with the best incredible equipment, but just being genuine, just committing to what, okay, I'm going to do this with content, committing, and that I found that so connected with people, much more than people going, oh, you've got a cool camera, people aren't really looking at that. People think they are, yet they're not. You really just have to start with what you have. If it's an iPhone or a little Google phone, or just you don't have a mic, you can use what you have now and create something amazing with it, and you can connect to anyone at any level with that. That's my tip.
Yeah, fantastic. And my third and final tip is to make it fun. So whatever you're doing,
make it fun.
Make it fun. So any content that you make, are you enjoying making it? Do you enjoy watching it or posting it? Are you happy with it? And a lot of the thing with me is that sometimes I'll make something, but I will be, down in the dumps, and I'm just trying to get, pump this out so it can go online tonight or whatever. But if it's not enjoyable for me to make, then it doesn't do as well on social media or whatever. So if you're enjoying it, you'll be happy with it, what you've posted, regardless of how well it does. And so I think that's the thing, is make it fun for people to see, have fun doing it. If you're having fun, then the people viewing your content are going to have fun as well. And I think that's something that both of us do well, is that we're quite genuine. I
don't do it if it's not fun.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's got to be fun.
So I think that's one of the biggest things for me, is I want to enjoy the content I'm creating, because otherwise why am I doing it? I think so.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah. What's next?
So those were our top tips. Now we're going to talk about niche, which I kind of already touched on a little bit, but we're going to expand on that a little more, because obviously maybe you've gone, okay, I know a lot about Batman, or I know a lot about the Marvel comics, and you know what you want to do, but how do you narrow down and go, okay, well, how do I make that into videos? How do I make these into TikToks? How do I do that? Finding your niche of things to do. That's the setup. I'm going to spin it back to you, Caleb, because I think, obviously, Star Wars fan. I love Star Wars, but you found your niche of, I'm going to do these skits of, I don't know if there is any Star Wars fans out here that know Dave Filoni, who's a big player in the Star Wars universe, but he's one of the directors and writers and creatives in Star Wars. And Caleb, you do skits based on this one random Star Wars producer, and that's a really niche thing you've committed to there.
Yeah.
How did you narrow that down? And again, every time we mention Star Wars, that's just because it's our thing, but when we say Star Wars, just replace it with the thing that you want to do in your head, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But how did you find your niche with what you're doing now?
Well, yeah, because part of that comes back to the research aspect, is that there's things that people do, and what I enjoyed was, I always enjoyed watching skits, whether that's a fandom related to Star Wars or Marvel or anything, or just random skits on TikTok about people living their lives and random chaos that ensues. That's what I enjoyed watching, and so that's something I found. I don't want to use the word lacking, but there wasn't much of it in the space that I was in online, and so I was like, okay, how can we get that kind of aspect brought into this area? And then another thing that I found online is a lot of people cosplay. A lot of people are these fictional characters who are really fun. Walking around Comic-Con, cosplay is one of the biggest things here, and it's amazing to see these incredible costumes. But for me, I did not have the budget to create a great, high tier, Mando armor, or, a cosplay that's very high quality. And so I went to my local Salvos, and I had a look around for different items of clothing, and I was like, who can I portray that's actually a real person? So someone who's not a character, I guess, but someone behind the scenes of Star Wars and part of the production team, because no one really plays those characters online. And so that was something. And then Dave Filoni, he's got a very iconic cowboy hat, which he wears to everything.
Everything.
You search up a picture of Dave Filoni online and he will have a cowboy hat on, guaranteed. And so that was something that I found fairly easily. And so I started writing down ideas of skits and what is the most absurd thing that you can do? And I was like, I'll give him an assistant. And what's his assistant's name? David. So we have Dave and David, and it's just the most absurd thing. But I found it fun. I enjoyed it, and other people did too.
See, it all connects. All of what we're saying connects.
Yeah. But Hannah, your content is super fun and doesn't really exist on the YouTube, in the YouTube Star Wars world, because you have some really unique ideas. You do some Star Wars food, which is really exciting.
Yes.
You talk about upcoming news. If there is news, you are on the ball.
I'm already there. I'm been streaming. The second you read about it, I'm already streaming it.
And you're really on top of it. But you come up with some really unique ideas, and you've also found your space in the Star Wars community in those really fun ideas. So how did you do that?
Well, again, it kind of, all our points here is it is making these answers, because I think finding my niche, I sat down and said, okay, what do I love? What am I passionate about? And that answers so many questions for myself of what I want to do. So yeah, like we say, I do a lot, like a live stream every week, and essentially my way of expressing how much I love Star Wars is getting really hands-on. As a kid, building your own lightsabers, painting, planning, Lego sets, all those kinds of things, being really hands-on. So I was like, no one's like doing this online. Like, you can see some Lego set builds and things like that, but I was like, every week I'm going to do something Star Wars and creative together, and I'm just committed to that, and that's been really fun to every week think of a new thing to do. One of my favorite ones was I got a hot plate on my desk. Probably not safe, to be honest. I don't know. Make it safe. I don't know. And I got a pancake mix, just the shaker ones, pancake mix, and I made Star Wars pancakes live. And I just did that for 2 hours. And I tried to make like a little Grogu head, and a little Death Star. And I super love doing that. So that, again, it's kind of converging there. Doing what you love, and then you just kind of commit to it, and you find a natural niche. It should be very natural. You shouldn't be like, I have unlocked the secrets of the internet because no one's ever done this before. It's not as complex as that. It is a natural progression of, I love this, and I'm going to combine it with my approach and how I'm going to present it and the videos I'm going to make. And there lies your niche. There's your niche. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Good niche.
And then, before we get into some questions from you guys,
Yes.
Want to touch on communities,
Yes.
and the communities that we have, the fandoms that we're in. Obviously, you come to Comic-Con and you see people who are dressed up as characters from the things that you love. There's stores and everything. And online, it's both similar and different in that there's so many people with so many different opinions on the stuff that you're consuming, the fandom stuff. But it's great to build those connections. How do you go about doing that?
It's a good question because it presents itself in so many different ways. It can be just the comment section of your TikToks, the comment section of your YouTube videos, or if you're doing live streaming, which I probably have the most experience with, the live streaming side of things. So I'm gonna leave the comment things and how to engage with people for you. But specifically with live streaming, whether it's gaming or whether you're making Baby Yoda pancakes, it's all about, people want to be heard. People want to be seen. Like, we all want to feel that validation and feel like we connect with somewhere and someone and something. And you have the ability to connect with someone like that. So as a presenter or someone that's in the video facilitating that live stream, if someone's commenting, it is very simple, but to engage with that, how's your day doing? Do you love playing this game? If you're streaming a video game, like, have you played this before? Oh, did you play the one before that? And it seems a little silly that you're like, in your bedroom or like in your office, like playing a game, you're talking to someone in your live stream. You're just kind of talking to yourself, really. But it is connecting, and I've really found a lot of depth with that, of just being able to identify people who come into the space and go, hey, I love what there was a Mandalorian episode last week. What did you think of that? And not just not like a, oh yeah, like whatever you think, but like, should be like, oh, you didn't like it. What didn't you like about it? Oh, you did love it. Who was your favorite character? What was your favorite scene in that? Things like that, and that applies for video games, shows, anything. But that's very specific to the live streaming, so like Twitch or YouTube streaming, for things like that. Really engage with people. People want to be heard. People want to be seen, and you can give that to them. And to be honest, I found that's been actually really successful for getting people coming back, because they know that when they come into that live stream, whatever it is, they're going to be listened to, and they can go, oh, hey, I did see that movie on the weekend. That was really cool. Let me tell you my thoughts. And they feel like they have a space to do that, and that's a beautiful thing. That's why I love doing it, because I think I love to hear other people's thoughts on it. It's cool. It's very cool.
Yeah, and that ethic, I guess, can be applied to comment sections on basically any platform, whether that's TikTok or Instagram or Twitter. Engaging with people is really the draw for creating communities. Even commenting on posts of people that you not necessarily like they're a big organization. So if there's some, movie news that comes out and you say, oh, I'm really looking forward to this, you're not speaking to anyone in particular, but people see that and go, oh, they're excited for this. Maybe I can talk, I'll check them out. Maybe I can talk to them about it. Responding to comments on Instagram or TikTok is like, I would say pretty essential in engaging people, because if you're taking the time out of your day to respond to comments, people, like you said, people feel seen, they feel heard, and that's something that everybody wants, I guess.
Yeah.
And so, that can be really applied to any platform. And that's the great thing about the communities is building these relationships in the public space, and just appreciating what the other person brings to the table in terms of the fandom. Are they bringing passion? Are they bringing a unique idea? Are they bringing a new way of creating this cosplay? Like all sorts of things. And you never know what people can bring in. It's really cool to see. Should we head to some questions?
I want some questions.
Yeah.
I want some questions, and they can be about anything really with content creation.
Yeah.
Maybe if you've already started content creating and you want to know something about what you're doing, pop your hand up. We do have a lovely helper here for a microphone if there are any questions. About your own stuff or for our stuff.
Yes.
Hi there. So I've been content creating for about a year and a half now, and I am starting to get like a little bit burnt out with making stuff. What do you guys find is the best way to combat like burnout and content burnout?
Absolutely, it's a great question. It's a spicy question. It's a common question, but burnout is such a big thing with content creation,
and it's very real. Like
very real.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I feel like we've both, especially recently.
We're like, we've had that feeling, haven't we?
Yeah, especially recently for both of us. I think, because there's, whether that's I'm just making a lot of content or whether that's actual life stuff. Taking a break definitely helps, and I know it's never something that you want to do because you always want to be putting out stuff for people to see. But even that, if that's a day or two, saying I'm not going to touch this, I'm not going to go near it, I'm not going to do a social media detox or something, just for a day or two, that has really helped. That's really helped me. But I'll pass it over to you.
Can I ask a follow-up question to you about it? Do you find your burnout is more you feel like you can't keep up with posting every day, or is it more of a general like, oh, this is going to take a lot to keep going overall?
Probably maybe like a little bit of both. It's kind of like obviously like the impendingness of everything, like it all like stacks up and you go, oh shit.
Sure.
But I think it's like a little bit of both. Like sometimes burnout with content and like the impendingness of everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think Caleb, what you just said that was really good. Especially when you kind of hobby or serious, however intense you are about it, there is that impending thing of like whether it's life or just naturally like, oh, I got to take a couple of days off, or I get sick for a couple of days, got to take some days off. You do get that feeling of, oh, what's going to happen if I go away for like 5 days or a week and I can't do this because everyone just got to leave immediately. That is such a common thing, and I don't know if that goes away. I still get that. Like I still go, oh, I can't do this, stream or content thing for the week. I'm going to be away. It's just like I come back and it's done. Like it's all over. But that doesn't happen. That really doesn't happen. If you do step away, which I think is the best advice I think we have for burnout, content creation burnout, is stepping away, having a breath of fresh air of it, like emotionally, and just you have to reassure yourself that it is okay. It's going to be there when you come back. The people are going to be there. Your passion for it's going to be there. Taking that step away does give you a bit of perspective, and depending what you're into and what you're creating, like reconnect with where that passion's come from. Whether it's like the video games or board games or whatever it is you do, just reconnect yourself with what you love. Because it's very easy for us to be like, Star Wars is business and I watch Mandalorian to be a businesswoman. It's very easy to have that perspective. So some days I'm like, I am going to rewatch the Clone Wars from start to finish, and I'm not going to make any content about it. I'm not going to talk about it anywhere. I'm just doing it as a fan. I'm just doing it for me. And that kind of replenishes yourself, if that makes sense. Cool. Thank you. Any more questions about anything?
Any more questions?
Give us like what's the word? What's the word when you like an example? Like an example. That was a good example. Like that was a great question. That was a great question. Because we could talk about the kind of the data side of things.
All the analytics.
The analytics. We all love the analytics behind things. Are there any other questions? You can just pop up your hand if you have one.
When you were first starting out, how did you find was the best way to really commit to doing or like making content?
I'm so sorry. Could you just repeat that again?
That's right.
But
When you were first starting out, how did you find the best way to really commit to making content on a regular basis?
on a regular basis? Yeah. So how do we commit to making content on a regular basis?
well, I mean, for me, it comes with the ideas. So some of my skits, it's not on a regular basis, but for the reactions, it's weekly, and that's to make sure that I'm keeping the fan base, especially for those TV shows, because they do release weekly. The ones that I watch, or the ones that that have already come out, it's to keep up to date with those people. So there's new content every week for them, and I personally feel like weekly is the best, because if you do daily, you get burnt out way too easily. So if you have a certain day of the week that you post, aim for that, and that's your one thing you do. And I think you gave this advice to me actually once, is have that consistency, but improve it by 1% every time.
Yes, 1%
it's not that you have to start at 100% and you go at 100% the whole time. You can start with a small idea and slowly build it up, but the consistency, if you're doing it weekly, if you're doing it, every third day or something, or, every Friday at 12 p.m., the consistency really helps, and it grows familiarity with your audience. If you've got a podcast that's coming out on a Monday morning, make sure it's there, 7 a.m. every Monday morning, so people can listen when they go to work. And it's the small improvements that you make over time that build the quality of it. And then, once you've grown it, over a year or so, then you're doing, almost twice as well as you were doing in the first place in terms of quality.
Yeah.
So I think that's really good. And that's actually advice from you. So
you just say my advice. I think you're spot on. I think something to add on top of that as well is once a week is more than enough. It really is. It feels like, everyone's, the really big streamers, video people on YouTube, TikTokers, they're every day. And I think we often go, don't I have to do that to be that? Which isn't the case. I started out with just one hour live stream a week, and then it was a very natural progression going, I could fit in to do a video, maybe a 3 to 4 minute video a week. And I could post a picture of my Star Wars collection. I can do that, and it's just slowly adding. And you can be so patience is a tricky thing. You need a lot of patience for it, but it's just a slow build over time. And even if it is once a week, you're posting an Instagram once a week or a video once a week, that's enough. Because then, again, with the consistency is the key thing. Really gets people in the knowledge of every Wednesday a podcast about this thing comes out every Wednesday, or every Wednesday a TikTok video about their cosplay comes out every Wednesday. That kind of starts to click with people watching your stuff. And so, it's more about consistency, and once a week is plenty. Or maybe once a fortnight, I don't know. Once a week, but yeah.
And it also depends on your life as well. If you're working, 6 days a week, maybe you can only get it out, every fortnight, maybe not even that. But it really depends on your life and your work-life balance, and how much you want to put into that as well. But always, it comes back to kind of what we said before about burnout and making it fun. You want to be enjoying it. You don't want to be burning out in just life. Always make sure you're prioritizing your mental health as well when it comes to that, because that's a very real thing.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Any other questions?
Any more questions?
Oh,
Our own camera guy has a question.
As a fellow creative, I know it's hard to sort of motivate yourself and look back on something you've made and be like, wow, I'm proud of this. So, to drive up your positivity, what is the one piece of content you are the most proud of?
oh wow. Okay.
Oh, gee.
I did a reaction video with a few of my friends, which you were in. Yeah, no, not you.
I was like, I was in it?
No. And that was really fun. That reaction video to a particular episode of a show called The Book of Boba Fett, which you're a Star Wars fan, you might know of. And it was a really fun episode, and a lot happened, and it was I got to react to it with a great group of people, and I really enjoyed that experience. And it also, it did well online, which was really exciting for me. And I sometimes go back and just watch it because it's so fun to see that group of people and to relive that experience, I guess. And so that's one that I'm really proud of and I enjoy.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah, I think my proudest piece of content, which isn't actually my biggest piece of content, definitely not most popular one, but in the middle, was I did a countdown live stream to the Mando season 3 premiere.
It was hype.
It was nuts. So I love doing those. I did it for 3 hours or 2 hours or something. And I just planned all these different activities I was making. I don't even remember what I did in it.
I don't remember either.
I was just making Mando style food. I was making Mando cookies. I did Mando gaming. I did all these Mando things. And then at the very end, I got people on the show, which I don't usually do, but I got call-ins. And I said, if you're watching the live stream now, have this link and I'll get you on the live stream. And I got all these people on the live stream that watch the show. And like I said, everyone's from everywhere. There was someone from Alaska and Michigan. Oddly, I got a lot of people watching me from the US, mainly. So all over America, someone from the UK, all called in, and they were all on the same live stream, and we're just there together going, oh, Mando's coming out in 20 minutes, this is awesome, I'm so excited, what are you guys excited for? And this was all on just one screen, one live stream, and that was just the most fun, and I think that was just the most, wow, I'm talking to all these people across the world about this one thing we all love, and it was just so wholesome, so that's probably my favorite. Yeah, we could probably maybe have one more question, if there was any more questions. Good stuff.
Cool.
Let's give our parting advice. What's our? Do we have a last point to hit?
We not really.
We kind of hit them all, didn't we?
We put that at the start. I didn't take that off the start.
No, that's right.
At the end, but that's fine. I would say maybe collab with people, because that's been really fun.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, collaborate with other creators. If there's people that you enjoy watching and they're at a similar level to you, reach out to them, see what you might enjoy doing with them. Put an idea to them. If they enjoy it, then they'll do it. And it's really exciting to collab with other creators, to bounce ideas off each other. And I think that's something that I found really fun in my space. Getting people to join in with the skits. Some people have really enjoyed doing that, and it's been super fun. Again, to connect with people across the world with something, and to feature them in my content and to be featured in theirs. It's been really exciting.
Yeah.
That's it.
Because that's why we're here. Because I'm from Sydney.
Yes.
Caleb watched my live stream.
Yeah.
And we became. We're like, you're from Australia. Are you? I'm from Australia.
Yeah.
You know each other? And then I was like, I'm gonna fly down. We're gonna do this together.
Yeah.
And then
it was
then we're here.
so exciting.
So, collaborating is really worth it.
Yeah.
Collaborating. And I think, I've got to go back to my first point. Just commit. You just start. Just go. You're going to learn so much on the way that's going to be so much value than just sitting there worrying what will go wrong. You'll learn so much by just committing, learning on the way, learn mistakes. Videos might not work, things might not do well, but commit. All right, I think that's us done.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming out. Listen to our advice. I hope you've learned something.
Yeah,
at least one thing.
Hopefully there's something of value in all that.
Absolutely.
We've appreciated your questions. That's been really helpful. Hopefully we've been able to help you guys, and we look forward to seeing what you guys can do going forward. It's really exciting. So yeah, thank you for having us, and we will
See you next time.
see
I
you
don't
next
know.
time. Who knows? But yeah, thank you.